We've done our quarantine in Christchurch and we are into a bio bubble in Queenstown. Good to have some training sessions on. It's been like a couple of days that we've got to train, and the conditions definitely have been different when the first training session that we had and to today. But the girls are keenly ready to get into the series. At today's time, the bio bubble and the quarantine is sort of a new norm that every athlete has to accept, and we sort of work our ways around it, find different ways that as cricketers, how quickly that we can get acclimatized and use the conditions so that we can prepare better before a series. We are here to sort of use this series as a prep for the World Cup, because it's the best way that we can get to know the wickets, the how what sort of a composition that we are looking into getting into the World Cup. So clearly, yes, not much going to get into those terminology, but yes, we definitely want to put in our best standard of cricket so that the team derives a lot of confidence from this series when we get into the World Cup. Having said that, every other team has worked very hard to prepare for the World Cup. Every other team have been playing bilateral series, so it all boils down to which team plays the best on that particular day. Yes, I played my first World Cup way back in 2000 in New Zealand. I remember when we recently had a session in Christchurch, Lincoln University. That's where we played the World Cup. I couldn't go through the entire World Cup because I was down with typhoid way back in 2000. But this time around, we definitely are looking forward to see that India does well than what we did in that edition. India was, bowed out in the semi-finals. But this time, yes, the team has done well in the last year, even though we've lost a couple of bilateral series. But the way the team has unified to perform well with some of the young players and with the experience, I'm looking forward that the team will unite to put forward our best cricket. Field, our first aim definitely is to play to win, but at the same time, I look forward to giving a lot of game time to the core players. It's important that each one of them find their rhythm before the World Cup. That's what every other team would do, to try find their compositions, find their core, so that they can prep them for the World Cup. Their own individual way of absorbing pressure and coming out and playing their best cricket. And having a sports psychologist traveling with the team this time around helps to sort of, she has these one-on-one sessions with the players to give them more time to understand how to deal with their pressures, to find ways that they can absorb and play their best cricket. It's a different format. Clearly, the team definitely will look forward to winning the match, because that's how we are conditioned. When we get onto the field, we look forward to winning it. Having said that, yes, they are this T20 also will give a fair idea about the wicket, about the conditions, how the players are coping with how it works in an open ground. It gives a bit of a feedback before getting into the one day series. It definitely is in our mind, but having said that, I think rather than saying 2 months, if you look at the games that we are getting, it could be around 5 plus probably 9 or 10 of the World Cup games. So we do have a couple of more seamers in the side. So we'll try and see how we can give them an opportunity. But workload is secondary right now. To get them to bowl in these wickets in these conditions is important. So that's why they need that game time to get onto the field and use at least 2 to 3 games to get used to the conditions. Important and helpful to have them around, traveling with the team with a longer duration of quarantines and bio bubble. And unlike before, where we get into the World Cup directly, now we have a series, so obviously the tour is extended for good 2 months. So it does help to have a one-on-one session with them, because you see things in a very different perspective, and that clearly helps you to understand your own self, to find, as I said, to find your own ways, because everybody have a different way of dealing these pressures and quarantine times. So to have somebody to address those issues is always helpful, a more professional professional support. Getting games before the World Cup is definitely a good prep. Games are day and night, but having said that, we are definitely getting one game day and night. And it's important that not to give too much importance to that. If we try and get a composition right, get the girls to be in the best form, I think we will be able to cruise through, because it's pretty much more in the mind. And moreover, in New Zealand, the daylight is quite long, so for a long time you probably don't require the artificial lights. Australia series we played last year, and this is a very different series, different conditions, different country. We can only carry forward the confidence that we gained in that series. But having said that, everything else is very different. So, as a team, we are looking forward to, picking what works for us in these conditions and what needs to be worked on. In Australia, obviously, we missed one of our main batter who plays the middle overs with her experience, and now she coming back into the side clearly definitely helps the team in terms of batting, and also she bowls a few overs. The off spin also works for us when we actually require, because it worked for us in England series where we won the last third ODI, where she got us a breakthrough when they had a long partnership. So I think in considering these options, I think it's good to have her back in the squad. I try to solve puzzles. It's basically like you just try to not put too much load onto your mind, because you obviously want your mind, your focus, your composure to be as fresh as it can to work better on the field. So off the field, I try and divert my mind into other things. That's how I